He was just drinking coffee when the owner reminded him to pay, and the man across from him suddenly pulled out a gun to rob the place. The honest owner tried to hand over money to keep things calm, but the two robbers instead set their sights on a waitress.
Don't fucking move.
Just as they were about to make a move, the owner suddenly swung a kettle and smashed it into one robber's face. Before the accomplice could react, he vaulted over the counter, grabbed the gun off the floor, and pulled the trigger at the robber without hesitation. In just 30 seconds, he took down both robbers, leaving the staff and customers stunned. The story quickly made headlines, and overnight he became the town's hero. But Tom looked troubled the whole time, like he was trying to avoid something. The next day, thanks to his newfound fame, his cafe was packed, but it also brought a few unwelcome visitors. They walked straight up to Tom, casually ordered a coffee, then mentioned a name to him.
Joey.
Joey,
My name's Tom, sir.
They weren't surprised by his reaction. One of them took off his sunglasses, revealing a blinded left eye, and mocked him, asking if he remembered his handiwork. Tom's smile disappeared. Looking confused, he insisted they had the wrong person, then turned away to serve other customers. His wife saw everything and assumed the men were there to cause trouble. She warned them to stop messing around or she'd call the police. The man didn't get angry. He calmly placed some cash on the counter, flashed a sinister grin, and left. Shaken, his wife quickly called the sheriff. Hearing that someone might be targeting the town's hero, the sheriff rushed out to intercept them. Under the pretense of a routine check, he looked at their IDs and used the information to identify them. That night, he went to see Tom and shared what he'd found. The man was a high-ranking member of a Philadelphia crime family, responsible for countless deaths. The police had never been able to pin solid evidence on him. He was extremely dangerous. The sheriff couldn't understand why someone like that would come after Tom. They weren't even in the same world. Tom brushed it off, saying maybe they saw him on TV and mistook him for someone named Joey. The sheriff accepted the explanation and told him to call if those men showed up again. The next morning, Tom arrived at the cafe early. A black car suddenly pulled up outside, watched him for a few seconds, then drove off. Seeing the direction it went, Tom's expression changed. He immediately followed. At the same time, he anxiously called his wife.
Hello?
Shotgun, Edie. Get the shotgun.
Tom, what's wrong?
They're coming to the house.
Who's coming to the house?
Just grab it. Do it and be
Okay,
ready.
stop. Are you serious?
I'll be there as soon as I can.
Just after hanging up, he saw the black car speeding toward his home. Meanwhile, his wife had already loaded a shotgun and stood ready on the first floor. But when Tom rushed home out of breath, he found no one had come. Just as he thought it was all in his head, the real trouble was only beginning. Later, his wife took their daughter shopping, and there she spotted the crime boss. Clearly he had followed them. According to him, Tom's real name was Joey, a notorious hitman in Philadelphia. He said Tom had blinded his left eye with a piece of wire, and that Joey's brother was a top figure in the mob. She didn't believe a word of it and hurried out with her daughter, but doubt had already taken root. At the same time, Tom's son was dealing with trouble of his own. Because of his father's fame, he'd become a target for bullies at school. At first, he tried not to fight back until they insulted his father. In an instant, he dropped his usual timid attitude and attacked them.
Okay, you motherfucker! Get over there! You son of a bitch!
When he got home, Tom scolded him. He had always taught that violence wasn't the answer, yet his son had broken that rule. Still angry, the boy shot back. If fists aren't the answer, then what? Killing people with guns is. Already stressed, Tom snapped. He slapped his son, and the boy ran out of the house in tears. Not long after, sirens blared outside. The crime boss had arrived with his men. Tom stood at the door with a shotgun, tense. At the boss's command, his men immediately grabbed the boy. Seeing his son taken, his wife rushed forward in panic, ready to fight. Tom quickly calmed her down and told her to go back inside. At that moment, a cold, deadly aura surrounded him, nothing like his usual gentle self. The crime boss seemed to know what he was capable of and told him to drop the weapon and walk over slowly. Seeing Tom didn't resist, he followed the rules and released the boy. Once his family was safely inside, Tom finally stopped hiding who he was.
It'd be better if you just leave now.
Hearing this, the boss paused, then signaled his men to bring Tom to the car, but Tom seized the moment, twisted the man's arm, and crushed his throat with a single strike. Outnumbered, though, he was eventually shot down by the boss. Just as Tom thought it was over, a gunshot rang out from behind. Though father and son managed to take down the intruders together, Tom felt no relief. All these years, he had hidden his identity and stayed away from violence to protect his family, but now everything had fallen apart. Afterward, under his wife's relentless questioning, Tom finally told the truth. He really had been Philadelphia's top hitman, a man without conscience, just a killing machine for the mob. One day, in a moment of impulse, he blinded the boss. Realizing the trouble he'd caused, he fled Philadelphia and changed his identity. Later, he met his wife, and only then did he understand what life meant, but she couldn't accept it. After more than a decade of lies, the thought of sharing a bed with a killer broke her completely, and she ran into the bathroom, sobbing uncontrollably. In the end, she still couldn't accept the truth. She turned and walked out of the hospital, leaving Tom lying there alone on the bed. A few days later, after recovering from his injuries, he finally returned home, only to be met with his son's sarcasm and cold remarks.
So you're some kind of closet mobster, Dad? I mean, if I go rob Milliken's drugstore, will you ground me if I don't give you a piece of the action? What, Dad?
Before Tom could even explain, the sheriff showed up at his door. After looking into things, he realized the situation wasn't as simple as it seemed. A mob boss wouldn't target an ordinary man for no reason. Tom was clearly hiding something. Just as Tom hesitated over whether to come clean, his wife came home and interrupted them. Hearing the sheriff question Tom's identity, she paused for a moment, then sat down beside him. Even though she was deeply disappointed in him, for the sake of their family, she chose to stand by her husband.
Sam, you've got too much time on your hands.
I'm sorry.
Sam, hasn't this family suffered enough?
Idiot.
Seeing her break down in tears, the sheriff realized he had gone too far and quickly left. The moment he was gone, she shoved Tom away. He chased after her, trying to stop her, but she slapped him hard across the face. Instinctively, he grabbed her by the throat.
Fuck you, Joey!
They struggled in the stairwell, but somehow, in the middle of it, they ended up kissing. They hadn't fully made up, but at least it was a start. That night, while Tom was asleep, his phone rang. It was his brother Richie, the mob's current third-in-command. Tom instantly knew he had no choice. For his family's safety, he had to go back. He drove through the night to a bar in Philadelphia, where a contact had been waiting for him. Under the man's lead, he was taken to a large estate. Once inside the house, the guards frisked him as usual. Then a familiar voice came from behind, his brother, whom he hadn't seen in over a decade. Richie stepped forward and hugged him, clearly excited to see him. But Tom knew better. This was just the calm before the storm. Sure enough, once they sat down, Richie got straight to the point. Back then, Tom had been reckless and arrogant. After blinding the mob boss, he vanished, leaving all the fallout for Richie to clean up. Now the boss had tracked him down, planning to drag him back to Philadelphia for punishment, only to be killed by Tom instead. The higher-ups were furious. To calm things down and maintain authority, Richie had to take action. Tom pleaded quietly, asking to settle things peacefully. He had a wife and kids now. He didn't want to go back to that life of violence. Richie said nothing. He simply turned his back. Tom kicked over the chair, then drove a kick straight into Richie's face. Breaking free, he struck a guard in the throat, then took down two more with just a few quick blows. Hearing the noise, more men rushed in, only to have their necks snapped almost instantly. Furious, Richie rushed to check on one of the men who was still barely alive.
How do you fuck that up?
Then he took his last remaining enforcer and went after Tom. Seeing the front door slightly open, Richie figured Tom might have gone outside, but worried it could be a trap, so he ordered his man to check the first floor. The moment the man stepped out, the door slammed shut behind him. They had walked right into it. One-on-one, no one in Philadelphia could match Tom. It took him just one move to kill the man. Outside, Richie was still fumbling for his keys when Tom opened the door himself. Without a word, he raised his gun and shot his brother dead. Then he slowly walked to the lake and tossed the gun into the water. He took off his blood-soaked jacket and washed himself clean. After finishing everything, he returned home, exhausted. The rage was gone, the killer buried. No one could tell he had just wiped out an entire mob crew. His young daughter brought him a plate of food. His son quietly handed him some barbecue. His wife looked at him, overwhelmed with emotion. A wild beast had chosen to stay caged in a place called home, but whether that was a good thing, she didn't know. What they did know was this: life would never be peaceful again.